Hi, Haruki here.
あ、シリです。
Today we're going to talk about our LDR. There are three topics today. Pros and cons of LDR. How do we conquer it? Like communication, argument, trust. Then finally, advice for other LDR couples.
And if any other couples have advice for us. はるき、日本語で LDR は何という？
LDR は遠距離恋愛。
メリットは、はるきと付き合ってる
Yeah, that's the...
もちろん。And then はるきがいなくてからもっとコミュニケーションが上手になる。だってる
because we have to communicate through line or
like
calling, right?
Like all there is communication. デメリットは、はるきを注意して。先にもちろんデートがない。それは寂しい。はるきはメリットとデメリット？
メリットは辛抱強さを鍛えられる。We can practice patience. あとは、of course, communication. When we call, sometimes, if we call on only audio, I only can hear your voice. I can't see your movement of mouth. So the first time, it was really hard to understand your English without any other information. So it was good practice for listening. Yeah, there are a bunch of cons. Like アメリカと日本で真逆もう世界の反対だから、時差がひどいんだよね。俺の朝でそっちの夜で、俺の夜はそっちの朝だから、電話するタイミングとかもう一つぐらいしかないから、そこでできないともうずっとできなかったり、LINE も結構寝てる間に送って、こっちが寝てる間に送ってみたいな感じだから。
今私午後9時からぐらい頃？はるきは？
俺の12時ぐらい昼の。
めっちゃ違う。
学校とかないからいいけど、学校あったら不可能だよね。Do we argue?
When was the last time we argued? わからない。
I don't remember. Like,
yeah. Once we mention it, we usually focus on solving it now. Like, sometimes if we, sometimes we might call for a really long time, which for me, it's my nighttime, so it's usually okay. Sometimes you'll tell me, like, hey, we need to call for less time. That way I can still talk to you, but it's not taking up so much of the time because I have other things to do. But instead of, getting upset, I'll say, okay, thank you for telling me. We'll work on it, right? So I think because of, LDR, we both sort of matured in that. About communication and I'm better about listening to what you have to say and you're better about expressing those opinions, things like that.
Yeah, we are quite different type of personality, first of all.
Yeah.
Extrovert and introvert. So instead of blaming each other, we try to focus on the problem instead of person.
Yeah, it's not just if there's a problem, it's not you versus me, it's both of us against whatever the problem is.
Exactly.
And also we both like things like self-development and improvement. I think that helps with our conversation and any arguments because we're so focused on that. And then for trust, I've always trusted you. I don't think I've ever had any concerns about that.
I think if we lose the trust each other, it is almost impossible to do LDR for a long time. Because if you can't trust each other, なんて言うんだろう, you're gonna be mental sick. Every time you would worry about
and very paranoid.
What he's doing.
Yeah, I've never worried. Maybe
trust
also
is quite important.
Yeah, for advice for other people who are just starting out as LDR or people who might be about to start soon. First, it's different for every couple, but having a deadline helps. Having a day you can count down to, or at least a month or a year, something. And then that can motivate you.
It's the same as marathon.
Yes, exactly. It's a marathon. And so working towards that helps a lot. If you're running a marathon, but there's no finish line, it's exhausting. And so before the LDR starts, discussing what it will look like, what expectations you both have, I think can be really useful. That way you know sort of what to expect looking into it. Like maybe one person thinks they'll call for 3 hours every day, and the other person's like, oh, I thought we were going to call once a week, that sort of thing. It's good to talk about that. That way you have the correct expectations together. That way nobody gets upset or feels overwhelmed.
I think it's important to have like hobby. It definitely help focus on. You can get flow. That way, time flies faster.
Yeah. I've also seen almost 2 years or a year and a half as time for self-improvement. That way, when I finally do get back to Japan, we can both be better people than when we last saw each other.
Yeah, well, that's what we discussed sometimes.
Yeah, and so that is helpful too. Sometimes, like there's like less than 3 months left. And I can be like, oh, 3 months, that's so long. But then when I think about how much improvement I still want to do, I'm like, 3 months is so short. What will I do? How will I get it all done? And so it changes the perspective a little bit. Because in like less than 3 months, I'll be moving to Japan. If anyone has advice for that shift from LDR and how to do that transition smoothly, that'd be great. So if you have any advice for that, if you can leave it down there, that'd be great.
Yeah. Also, I want to know your LDR stories.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.